Hello, my name's Dan Dodds. I'm the principal attorney at the Dodds Law Firm in Surprise, Arizona. Today, I want to explain to you what an executor does and who is this person called an executor. Well, essentially, an executor is the person you have named, or if you haven't named anybody, the court would appoint one that will manage the resolution of your passing, and if there's a will, they will carry it out. If it's a trust, they'll disperse your assets consistent with the trust, and it's the person who takes it from the moment you die to the moment that the remaining property is distributed to whoever you've named. So it's a very important role. You don't necessarily have to use a professional person. Many times people will serve as an executor as a favor of a neighbor or someone. But after you see everything that an executor may have to do, you can appreciate that being an executor can be time consuming. And so some people are hesitant to become an executor, and if there's a lawsuit and you're the executor and they're alleging that you did something wrong, they're going to sue you and you become liable for any damages that might incur. So unless you're really comfortable with this person or they don't have a lot of assets, you might want to give some pause to thinking about, do I really want to be an executor for the little bit of money I will get for having done it? So let's jump into what does an executor do. Well, there's many things, but here's what I think the most common 10 things that an executor does. If I pass and I have a will, they will locate where my will is and they will file it with the probate court if my case needs to be filed with the probate court. The second thing they'll do is they will get the original of my death certificate and they will order multiple copies of that they can send to the people who need copies of that to do anything, such as your debtors and the court and the DMV and those kinds of things. So they'll get the copies off the original death certificate so that they can use them. The third thing is they'll gather all the documents that they are aware or become aware are going to be necessary to administer your estate after your passing. The fourth thing is that they're going to initiate and probate proceedings if that's necessary. And I spoke to what those thresholds were in one of my earlier videos, but if you have any question, look at the videos on probate. The fifth thing that the executors typically do is they determine who your creditors are, notify them of your death so that they will not allow any other charges to come onto that credit card. 6, open up a bank account for your estate. As you're going to be gathering money and assets and perhaps selling some things, you need a bank account that isn't yours, a personal banking account, but it would be an account named as the estate of and whoever that would be. 7th thing that an executor does is they locate where all the assets are. They prepare an inventory that they're going to share with all of the heirs, and if necessary, they will order appraisals. Well, what's this boat worth? If it's to be divided up, or a house, or whatever it might be. If they have to have an appraisal to if they have to sell it, the question is, well, what's a fair price? Well, they have to have an appraisal. Number 8, they have the obligation to protect all your assets that you left on your passing until those assets are sold or distributed to the heirs that you've named. The ninth thing they're going to do is they're going to identify all your debts so that they know who to pay out of this estate bank account that they've established, so you're not left with people wanting to sue the estate because they didn't get paid for some furniture. And then you can't close the estate, so nobody gets anything at that point until those things are resolved. And typically the last thing they do is they will distribute the remaining property to your heirs consistent with what your will said they should get. So like, it could be money, it could be property, it could be a home, it could be furniture, it could be a favorite painting, it could be their wedding rings, it could be a lot of things. But they would physically start distributing that property to the heirs. Okay, well, I hope that information is helpful to you. Now you know who an executor is and a pretty good idea of what an executor does. Some people will retain a third party because they don't want to mess with it. They'll hire an attorney. There are people that do that kind of work under bond, so that they mess up, they're liable for it. But nonetheless, executor, if it's not a huge, complicated estate, you don't have to be an attorney to do that. So if you have a question, and take it to an attorney, pay for that attorney out of the estate funds and ask them, is this a simple one? Should I proceed? Should I have you do some of this work for me? And they'll give you a good idea of the safest path for you to go, so there are no unhappy heirs that want to come knock on your front door and serve you with papers. Okay, have a good day.